All right, we're live now.
We're live.
Hello,
You know, I feel like
everyone.
this is like an opportunity for us to remind ourselves that we're not dead, you know, because every day we are on this and we are alive.
We are
And kick in.
alive and kicking.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our open session again. I think this is, it's always fun to do open session. You have the Zoom link on the live video. If you're around, if you think you just want to drop in, have a quick chat, join us. There's a very special guest coming in 15 to 20 minutes. We're waiting for her. And on that note, to start with, let us all wish you a very happy World Intellectual Property Day. And I'm not an expert on that, and I'll just pass this buck on to Simon now to talk about it, and maybe bring Emma in, and let's see who can talk about it more. If you think that you know about this subject, then join us.
Trust me, pretty much everybody knows more about it than I do, except maybe like dogs and cats. Maybe they don't know as much as I do. But my understanding, maybe we can have this conversation as we were having like a glass of champagne and a piece of cake or something. We're just talking around the table, and we're just trying to figure out what is intellectual property. Like obviously copyright is part of that, but I guess, I mean, inventing something is also part of the intellectual rights, would you say?
Patents and trademarks come under this as well.
Yeah, exactly. Patents, trademarks, copyright, anything that's invented that's yours. Hi, Fatima. Put on your mic.
Hi, how are you?
Claire?
Good.
Hi.
Hey, Fatima.
Hi, Emma, how are you?
I'm good. I'm sitting in my garden, the sun's shining, the
Oh,
birds
I
are
envy you.
tweeting.
It's very sunny.
So beautiful today. It's our last day of sunshine. We've got 2 weeks of rain coming.
Hi, Sunil.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, Sunil.
Hey.
Hi,
Sunil.
Emma.
We're talking
Emma,
about
was
patent
at
and
your
copyright.
house when there was a conference at Oslo.
I think we didn't get you completely. You said something about Oslo.
Yeah, I was there at Emma's house when they had taken a conference at.
Oh,
Oslo.
Okay, anyway, fine.
So you've been to Emma's house? Jeez.
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
one?
yeah.
You must have at least 16 homes, you know?
Some 10 years back, I was there, so I just don't remember. But many language publishers were there for the Oslo conference in the
So
Norway.
was it the IPA? Or
Not
okay.
actually, but it was Norwegian literature people who had arranged that
Seminar.
seminar and conference at Oslo.
So now you.
So anyway,
So I see now you're set with your Zoom, and then we look forward for
Yeah.
a session tomorrow.
tomorrow, yeah.
Tomorrow is India session.
So everybody is locked down and everybody is in all the problems of the publishing houses are going around waiting to open the bookshops and publishing houses.
Yep. Pretty much
Absolutely.
everywhere the same place. Some people are getting, some people are opening up. Some countries are opening up slowly, small bookshops. And
Very slowly.
I know that our printers will be running again soon. They were confined to printing only medical information and commercial needs for food and all that. But I think they'll be
Where are they
starting.
based, Simon?
There's some in Quebec, some in Ontario, some
Okay.
in Manitoba, most of them. Yeah.
So local Canadian printers.
Yes. Yeah. We have a really good printing program here. A lot of Americans, school, educational publishers print here.
Okay.
Yeah. They're right on the. They're not far from
But
the
it
border.
should be
so-
difficult in Prashant. It should be difficult in Delhi to see the printing presses being open.
So the last I've heard, the big ones are open. I've heard the Thomson, which is one of the biggest in the country, they have started operating at a capacity of 50%. But the other smaller printers, and I mean there are quite a few here in Delhi, they still haven't figured out how to operate. It's not because of the restrictions, but it's because of the migrant laborers who used to work in those factories, and they have gone back home. So that
Right.
is one of the biggest challenge.
Shortage
especially
of
the city
staff.
with the shortage of staff.
Yeah.
So Fatima, how are
So all the
things with,
printings would be delayed.
What's that,
Sorry.
Emma?
I was asking
ahead, Emma.
Fatima how things were with her. She's doing Ramadan.
Yeah, it's the 30th day now, and I'm fasting while talking to you without coffee, without anything. I'm just a splitting headache.
Tough.
Tough.
Yeah, I will have like the iftar after 1 hour from now, so it's good. But I wake up very early, so I got like 13 hours of fasting, which is so hard and
Wow.
tough. Yeah,
It's a good thing. I think everybody should do that. You know, I think
it's
it's
healthy.
a
Yeah, yeah,
smart
it
thing
is.
to
It's
do.
healthy. Yeah,
It pushes to
See,
meditation.
You know
Yeah,
the
it's very
concept of
healthy.
the concept of intermittent fasting, and that is what it is. So, I mean, 16
Yeah.
hours you're not eating anything, and then 8 hours, the window in between you can have a little bit here and there. And it runs for a month to basically detoxify your system. I mean, apart from the religious reasons I'm not aware of, but it's really, really good for your health.
Yeah, it's really good
what
for the health.
What will you have to break your iftar tonight, Fatima?
Sorry.
What will you have to break your iftar?
Oh, I didn't know. I will check with Mama. I just wait for the food to be ready, and then I pray.
Mom, what are we having?
Yeah, I always break my iftar on like some strawberry juice, something like this, and then I can
Nice.
check what Mommy cooked. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. But I don't eat too much.
You know what?
You don't eat too much, no, because I guess it doesn't serve to eat too much. Otherwise, you just have a sore tummy after that.
Yeah.
You know, the next week, I mean, starting tomorrow, it's lined up with a lot of activities, and that's what I wanted to announce. That this week, we on every day we'll be going live at a certain point of time in a day around either 2 BST or 4 p.m. BST, and we'll have these wonderful sessions lined up tomorrow. We are talking about India, so I'm very excited about it. There's a great panel which will be here, and Sunil is also part of that panel. And not only will we be talking about what's happening in India right now, but I really want to talk a little bit about the regional publishing and how big and vast India is, because generally a lot of people I have met at the fairs, and usually they ask me, in what language do you publish? Do you publish in Indian? And at times I feel like, oh, there's nothing called Indian language.
Oh yeah, there is in my country. There are a whole bunch of them.
Oh yeah, you have. So
Talk
that's
about
what we wanted.
confusion.
Yeah, and that's what we wanted to talk about, the different aspect of publishing in India, and it's a big country with a lot of people, and it's a subcontinent, but it's a continent within itself in terms of number of languages and the sort of publishing people do, and not only trade but also academic and general medical STM. So it's huge, and it will be great to have that session. On Tuesday is a session I'm really excited about. I mean, that is something which has blown in terms of our expectations, because we just thought that we will talk about a certain fellowship, and this wonderful idea Ruben had that let me invite people over, and now we are with looking around 20 people coming in, talking about 20 different fellowships across the globe. It is going to be a long session, folks. So be ready for it. I mean, there will be a lot of people. We have never had so many participants in one panel. So that's something I'm really looking forward to. And Emma, would you like to talk about Wednesday? Because Wednesday is something.
Wednesday's the
very
Africa session, and
Wednesday's the Africa session.
we're going to hear from Samuel, who is the president of AppNet, who will tell us about how the different African publishers associations are working at the moment, and we'll bring in Hugo Setzer from the IPA, who will also talk about how AppNet's working with the IPA. So I think that's going to be a really broad session that, again, could go on for a long time, but I think we're going to have to do more Africa sessions because it's a huge continent that you simply cannot cover in 1 hour. And I think we'll have a bit more of an emphasis on West Africa in this one. So I think certainly there's a lot of interest in Africa right now. And I think we'd love to hear from more people who are publishing in Africa to come forward and offer to do some sessions with us as well, particularly from East Africa, from South Africa, and from North Africa.
Ima, do
Where
you
is that dog?
Sorry.
Who has a dog?
Yeah, I.
Okay.
That's okay. That's okay. Don't
It's okay.
tell to stop. It's bringing life to the workshop, to the session.
Yeah. Hi,
Welcome,
Mitya.
Mitya.
Hi,
Welcome,
Mitya.
Mitya.
Hello, Mitya.
She can't hear us.
Yeah, she can hear
Okay.
us.
Hi, Mitya.
She'd forgotten to put her mic on. Hi, Mitya.
She's here.
Ima,
Have to
do you
get close
think that
to the
London
mic
Book
closer.
Fair, which was being
Can't
cancelled,
hear you. Closer.
would be affected to the publishers in the rights session?
So there's a rights session on Tuesday that London Book Fair's running called Rights Essentials. It's a masterclass in buying and selling rights. That's
Okay.
free of charge. No, there's no cost to it, but it's taking place on Tuesday at 2 p.m. Is that
Okay.
the session? I can post about it in the group.
That'll be great, Emma. That'll be great.
Yeah, masterclass in rights
I-
selling.
I wasn't aware of that. So yeah, Wednesday is a great session, and Thursday there's something about Sweden, and I'm not aware of. We have not announced, but do you want to talk about it? Thursday and Friday, Sweden and European literature.
So yeah, Thursday we're going to hear about the market in Sweden and what the publishing trends are, how they're coping with COVID. And then Friday is going to be an interesting session with Rosie Goldsmith, who runs an organization called the European Literature Network, that will talk a lot about translations and how also they're transitioning that network to online. So how they're hosting workshops and sessions, talking about translation, talking about European literature. So we should not only understand and learn a bit more about translations in Europe, but we'll hear a bit more about tools for transitioning to online, especially for workshops. And Rosie's also chair of the European Prize for Literature. So she'll tell us a little bit more about that, and we can get to know some more European authors through this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited about those two sessions as well.
How about Saturday, Simone? Do you want to talk about the Saturday session, and what do you have in store for the Saturday session for us?
What's on? Wait a minute. I can't remember everything. We're doing so much stuff.
It's the Arab
the
world.
Arab world.
Yeah,
I swear to God. I mean, this guy Prashant, he's just going wild. He's got us going on. I think we've got sessions until 2025.
That's how long we're gonna be in lockdown. That means. Believe me, that the moment world opens, I'm out. I'm out.
You know, but more seriously, when I went to the first Sharjah book fair, professional program, what really hit me, and I can't speak for anyone else, but me as a North American French speaking publisher, I had to admit I knew very little about what was happening in the Arab world, and the Sharjah International program really opened up my eyes to to the wonderful things that are happening and the challenges that they're going through. And I was thinking that we should have an opportunity to get people on board. And so Mohammed Hadi and others will be talking about the Arab situation, and not just Northern Africa, and not just, but the global Arab world and some of the issues that they are concerned about. I think we'll see that a lot of the concerns are common to all of us publishers. So
Yeah,
that'll
it's
be
really
Saturday.
important. Yeah, because most of the publisher are facing censorship and book piracy, economic challenges. This is huge, especially in the Arab world, in Egypt in specific. So I think this would be important.
I think Mohammed was
Really
the one
important.
who mentioned. I think it was it was right after the Arab Spring and mentioning the fact that instead of going in a positive way, this had created actually more censorship and more situations of alarm than we would have hoped to have seen. So I really think that we have so much to learn from the Arab publishers and what they're going through. So I'm looking forward to that on Saturday for sure.
There are a lot.
There's a lot, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
publishers, they're all over the place. You cross the street, there's a publisher. You open a door, there's another publisher.
Yeah.
How amazing that is. Mithya, how's the situation? Mithya, how's the situation in Bangladesh? Now we can't
Put
hear
the
you.
mic close your mouth because we can't hear you.
Your mic isn't working.
Hello.
Aha. Oh, we hear you faintly.
Very faintly.
Oh, this is perfect.
Hello.
Now we're starting to hear you.
Is it working?
Now it's
Yes.
working.
Now it's working.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, it's nothing new over here. We are in the lockdown till 5th May. So maybe it will extend it. Never know. Doing nothing productive in the house. This is the first time I'm using Zoom. So yeah. What about you? How are you dealing with? You guys are busy, I know. Simon, Prashant is not sleeping, that I can tell.
Crazy.
I'm
How are you, Emma?
2 hours maybe?
I'm good.
No, he is not sleeping.
Fatima is not sleeping much either. So I
No,
tell you,
she looks
Yeah.
beautiful.
the two of them
He's sleeping.
together are up all night. So.
Hi, Fatima.
Hi, Mithya. Nice to meet you here.
Nice to meet you.
So
Uh,
Prashant,
hi,
don't
Emma.
worry, we are not going to lose any rights. So we will catch them up. So do
Yeah.
sleep well.
well, I get my fair share of sleep,
Yeah.
especially when you're not moving around a lot, when you're not really that tired to be on the bed for a longer period of time. And I'm sort of a person who really hates exercising. So, and this is my way to basically put on some energy.
So, how are you dealing with this situation right now, other than the book business and all that?
I'm very happy actually. I mean, for us, it was a crazy ride for me. I was working in a startup sort of publishing environment from last 2.5 years. And every day, I mean, we were number crunching, we were title crunching, and being a mass market publisher, it's always more about how many titles you're bringing in next week, a fortnight, and a month. And I mean, in less than 2 years, we clocked around 600 titles. And this year, this calendar year, our target was to get close to 1,000 titles. And it was a crazy ride. So Simon is just holding his head. It's like, ah! But, yeah, I mean, I was on a crazy ride, and this has stopped. We are not doing any new titles. But
No
we're
wonder he
still,
doesn't sleep at all.
Yeah.
and we are still working on 100+ titles now,
Wow.
which people are working from home.
Hmm.
But it's a great respite, because I mean, at times what happens that you keep on running, and you do not get time to look behind. So this time actually I'm stable,
chilled out.
sitting quietly,
Yeah.
thinking about, and I think making more decisions which make more valid points, other than just being in a rat race.
Hmm.
But Prashant, I think in India, being many languages there, so my
Mhm.
going through that because of some content which are read on proofs actually, not on
Mhm.
the computers. So
Mhm.
that is worrying us because I cannot send those proofs to those proofreaders or the editors. So that is the main issue. It should be a main issue in our languages, I think.
Yeah, because
So,
I think one of the reasons you have to send the printed proofs because not everyone would have that language font, particular language font.
hmm,
So yeah, it's a very difficult situation in that sense because the courier services are not working. So
yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's a logistical nightmare at this point of time. So anybody who is not equipped to work digitally, it's a big problem. And I
Yeah.
think one of the reasons we are still working that we adapted very quickly. Before getting into lockdown, a week ago, we actually started working from our homes
From the home.
and
Okay.
from the homes, and we made sure that all the designers and the illustrators and editors they carry their machines from the office, so that they are, I mean, they have all the elements they need and they are connected to the server,
Mhm.
and we have uploaded all the files just in time. So we don't see effect in terms of, I mean, work being hampered in any case. But of course, I mean, there's no new list, no new titles we are looking at.
Whatever it is, but you can finish off your pending work, which was to be done in your office, actually.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So that is great thing.
And
And how?
then it has given us a time to work on the digital conversions. We were never looking at the fixed layouts and the EPUBs and all that. We are highly dependent on this thing, the print books. So because of this downtime, lockdown, we start thinking we are now converting a lot of books into and we'll see how it goes. But at least we have one another source of revenue. Uh, so I think I take everything positively. I mean, as
Yeah,
long
of
as
course, of course.
we try to figure out a way out of this, it's fine. If there's nothing else and we are stuck, then we are stuck. We can't do anything about it.
Uh, do you think just because of all these things we have caught up, the digital market would come up? So people would be seeing more of digital content now?
So I have a different opinion. A lot of people are very bullish, and I ran a poll on the group, and I asked whether there will be a digital boom or we'll go back to the usual. And a lot of
Internet.
people, they're very bullish on that. My
Okay.
personal experience, 2008 recession, everybody jumped on the wagon, and they said that now it's a time where everything would be digital, EPUBs will come into existence, and a lot of companies spend a lot of money on digital. In fact, I left job. I started my own digital conversion services company in 2012, and I thought that this is the next big thing, and I'll be minting gold out of it. And then everything went south. So, so I'll still give it a lot of time. I'll still give it 6 months to 8 months, and see. So if the lockdown situation or staying at home situation and is still persists for another 6 months, we might have to devise the way. But there's still a lot. I mean, I think print is going to stay. I mean, to cut
No, no,
everything
I'm
short,
not
print is
saying that
going
it
to
will
stay.
vanish or it will go, but still seeing to the further period that if still after 6 months the bookshops or the shops would be open, but people would not come out at the crowded
I
places.
so so you
Yeah.
know so that way
Sorry.
this recent yesterday I have heard that the government, Indian government, the Ministry of Home Affairs has allowed the school bookshops to get open.
Yeah.
So that's the latest news. Another thing, how long? That means the book publishers, the academic book publishers, have lobbied really well and made sure that the school bookshops get open soon. And shortly, I think we all have to, the trade book publisher have to make a point that books are essential. People need books, if the bookshops are not open, at least let Amazon or the Flipkarts of the world, the online sellers, the Geos of the world, be allowed to sell books. So
But
at least there
in
there
the
is
same
sort of
case,
some
we have
printer.
to finish their orders also.
Oh yes. So that means warehousing facility should not be open. On
Start.
that point, let us welcome Sonia. Sonia,
Hi.
very nice to see you here.
Sonia,
Thanks for
welcome.
coming in.
Hello.
So,
How's things
interestingly,
going, Sonia?
Well, I think like everywhere, we are coping. It's not easy, but we are struggling. We are surviving so far.
Are you still in lockdown?
Yes, we are. Well, they are letting some things happening, like small shops are open. Actually, they have been open all the time. It's now that they enlarged the limit of people per cashier. And then they will let people do some sports after the 4th of May. The sports that are not so-called contact sports. Like tennis, hipping,
Golf?
Golf. And but you know what? We are all afraid that this is everything just to show that people can start living normally, because we've got the election, the presidential election, and the stupid authorities don't want to cancel it. I mean, don't want to change the date. They want to make it on the 10th of May, which is stupid. So it's like they are playing games. So I'm afraid that situation might be worse than it is shown officially. Like, remember, you know the situation in Japan, right? They were hiding the facts until they finally postponed the Olympic Games, right? And then all the cases appeared. So we are afraid that it might happen sometime in May, when they actually decide that it's stupid to organize the election. So we are trying to live our lives and to do what's best, but we are not sure what the real situation is. Just to say a few words. How about you, all of you?
Same thing going on. So I was just talking about the ebooks. So how about in Bangladesh? How are the ebooks going on?
Oh, actually, ebook actually is not. Some few publisher actually have they have their own ebook they sell in Kindle, but we don't have ebooks very much popular or anything. So I think this is the time to think about it. But I think it's depend on the genre. What kind of genre ebooks and what kind of demographic actually reading the books. We have a pirated version in the internet, I mean, available. People are using link, downloading all the time. So I personally don't feel safe to give my content in the market. So now let's see what happens.
So on Kindle, you are not sure to give.
In the future, we have to think about it, how to deal with this. But other than, I think fiction, non-fiction and other genre have the possibility to do well in the ebook, I think.
So I think so in European countries, it is going up. The figures are going up. Yes, Sonia?
Yes, it's true.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We're seeing about 25 to 30% increase in ebooks and audiobooks in the last couple of weeks alone.
Is that the same with you, Sonia?
Well, since we still can deliver the physical copies, because, you know, the Amazon doesn't operate in Poland. They only have big warehouses to serve the German market. And so, because since some other companies can deliver the goods as well, and like my publishing house, we have also the sales online, so I can observe what's going on. So we've got the increase of the sales through the online services. Also, the ebooks increased the ebooks and audiobooks, but I would say they increased by maybe 20%.
All right.
Yeah, 20% or maybe 30%. I'm still waiting for the result from April, so I can only base the information from March because we only have the reports every end of month. And so that's the situation. So it's not that the ebooks replaced the paper. No, the paper decreased a little because the shopping malls with the big chains are closed, and the online sales didn't cover what we lost in the shopping malls. So in general, there is a decrease, but maybe the decrease is by, let's say, 30%, 40%. So then the increase of the ebooks. But when you compare the state before, so ebooks towards the ebooks before, not the rest of the market. But yeah, we will see what will be the next.
I have a question for you. Since you also run Warsaw Book Fair and that's supposed to happen in May, what is the news from the Warsaw Book Fair and what is the next? I mean, have you decided anything? Is it out? Because I've not heard much from that. I mean, that part.
Well, the situation with the Warsaw Book Fair is much more complicated because you know, the Warsaw Book Fair is run by the company that consists of several companies. My company is one of the small wholesalers, and the big wholesaler is Murator Expo, so the company who is the actual fair organizer. And they, because of cancellation of big events, several different events, they happened in the very bad situation. So they fired like, I think 95% of people. There were only a few left just to do some accountings. So everything is possible with that company. Jacek, that you know, Prashant Jacek.
Yeah, I know. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, he was fired as well, unfortunately.
All right.
Yes. So the thing is that officially the book fair is postponed. They are the people who are still left at Murator. They are still trying to find some possibilities to do it in autumn. But I'm afraid that not many events will be able to be organized in autumn. So the real thing is to make Warsaw Book Fair next year, next May. And possibly not with Murator, but we will try to gather the people that, as I said, being fired from Murator, and to do like some restructurization of our book fair company, possibly replacing Murator by some other company, or at least to make some changes and to take these people that are, you know, waiting for possibilities. So as I said, the situation is much more complicated. But we were doing also some other events, like the event at Gdynia during, it was usually in July, and the event in my city at Silesia, which used to be in November or December. So it might be that these two events could be still possible. The summer one, because the city authorities of Gdynia, they want to attract some people, and actually that event was more like a open place, like, you know, the marketplace. So so maybe that could be done in July, end of July, let's say beginning of August, if the situation doesn't worsen as I talk about the contagion. And we still have time until Silesia event. As I said, November, December is still possible to be done.
Right. So in that scenario, do you think Murator will go ahead and create his own book fair? And are we seeing a possibility of two book fairs competing against each other in Warsaw or in Poland?
So, sorry, can you repeat? I had some breaks in internet and I didn't hear.
So just in case, if you go ahead and basically restructure the book fair with the amount of with the people who have been fired, do you think that Murator will go ahead and create his own sort of book fair, and we can see like 2 book fairs happening next year?
I don't think so, because all the know-how is with the people who are left and with our company that consists of other publishers. So Murator was just the event company.
Management.
So I don't think they wouldn't be able. So
Oh.
actually, I think they might go into bankruptcy, but we have to wait some months to make sure that it really happens. But that's the possibility I'm considering.
But as far as I know, they are a big media house, and they have, I think, magazines or a
Yeah,
publishing house
and,
or a
and,
TV.
they, and they exactly, and they closed already at least 2 magazines. Yeah, they made a lot of big movements already in end of March, beginning of April. So it looks like they are cleaning the space. It's really frightening, you know, the speed they are acting, and I would say cruelty and brutality, because the main boss, I don't like that guy. I don't like this person. He is not thinking about people. He is just trying to do what's best for him.
That's such a shame. That's such a shame, because at this point of time, I mean, all we just, of course, I mean, you can financially it would be a drain. You would not be able to manage it, and you might have to do the things which you need to do. But I think all we need is some sort of compassion, and maybe letting things go a little bit easy rather than shutting down the shutter hard. But I don't know. I mean, a lot of things will change because of whatever has happened now.
Yeah, I think the situation shows real people who is good and who is a real shame. Yeah. So and we are already facing that.
This is such a sad news, actually.
Mhm.
I wanted to bring you here and talk about basically all the sessions you are doing with authors. And I don't understand any bit of Polish, but I find them very interesting because you have been doing it on a regular basis. Would you like to share that? What is that happening? And along with that, how is your tennis going on?
Well, that was the idea, so we could meet online with our authors. So we started with the Polish one, and that guy is sociologist, former politician. So I thought it could be a good discussion to start with, and to check and to test that system, and it worked. So next we did another session with another Polish author. And last Thursday we did with the British author that you might know, Chris Carter, and it worked fine. And I'm glad that this situation we are now in, it showed the possibilities that we can meet people with big distances, right? And yeah, and we can reach the readers even with a bigger, let's say, scope than just at the local event. So it worked. The thing that I told you I need to do today, it's just I need to do the translation. We want to do the script of the translation on this video, so that the Polish readers that don't speak English that well, they can still enjoy that. And the next we've got on the line will be the Swedish author Kamila Grebe and the Icelandic author Isha Sigurðardóttir. They are both crime thriller writers. Why? Because I also noticed that in these days, the genre of the books people like to buy and read are lighter, like entertaining, mainly thrillers. And so we picked up these authors, and we actually postponed more sophisticated, more literary books for next months. We had to cancel the publication from April and May of many books that were of this genre. And children books are selling fine, and the graphic novels, comics, but the authors are not that popular. So we are doing this. Yeah, and yes, the regular base. We want to do this kind of online interview once per week, at least. So the next one will be, the next one I will have on Wednesday. Yeah, that's the appointment on Wednesday.
Wonderful.
With the Polish ones, yeah.
Very good to hear that children books are still selling. I mean, we are just waiting here in India because we can't sell anything. Everything is
Oh.
locked down and closed, and books are not a part of essential services. So we're still waiting the air to be cleared up on this. Emma, do you have any questions?
I've got a lot of background noise here at the moment, so I've been on mute. But so, is there any rights trading going on, Sonia? Are you still looking at buying and selling rights at the moment?
Yes, I do, but I would say slowly. So usually after London, you had like a big rush. Agents were pumping up, the titles, and you had to take part in a lot of auctions. And well, I stepped away from any auctions if they were doing. I decided to take everything one by one, and things really slowed down. So yeah, I am buying titles, but since I postponed so many titles for later months, I don't need that many at the moment. So it's like, for example, if I used to buy, let's say, 4 per month, statistically, let's say, so I'm buying 2, so half of that. So I'm still buying, but well, yeah, with a slower step.
What do you think about online book fairs? Obviously, Bologna is going online at the beginning of May. What's your view on online book fairs? Do you think they can work?
I mean, yeah, they can work. That could be an idea because yeah, it needs more preparation, let's say, so that we have in mind, because normally, since, well, for example, with London, London was cancelled, and some of the agents were showing the idea that, okay, so let's meet at the same time, let's meet online. But because we were living in a different situation, I had to do so many other things, to change some structures in the company, to take care of some other problems. I was not taking care of these online possibilities because I was just not finding the time for that. But yeah, if we have in our mind that, let's say, 15th of May is from 15th for 3 days, we've got the Bologna Fair, and we organize the meetings like it would be real. Yeah, I think we are now used to work with Zoom, Teams, or any other online possibilities. So I think that could work. Yeah.
Which will save the costs also.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yes, sorry, if I can just finish. Sometimes when you have the book fair, you are used to have these half-hour slots, and you don't have that much time to talk about all the books and everything. So maybe that could give you more time and to see some presentations online. And yes, you run around the book fair, sometimes without the computer, but then with the online meeting, you can exchange the presentations much easier. Yeah, that could be some good beside of that.
And you have no interruptions either as well.
Yeah,
you kind of like, you have that person's attention.
Exactly. The only thing you would miss just kisses to everyone that you would be missing.
And there has to be some way of recreating the evening entertainment as well, hanging out in a virtual pub or a bar.
Yeah, it could be good, yeah.
Just to let our viewers know, anybody who is watching, there's a link, you can use that and join us live. Drop in, we could have a short conversation. We are still here for around 20 minutes. I still use my hand a lot and put it on my nose for some reason, I don't know.
But Simon and Prashan, are you ready for the Bologna digital book fair thing? So I'm not an exhibitor, so I can't go access. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, we put ourselves in
PubMed.
No, we put ourselves in a, what would you call it, a war type of team, because I gotta admit, I mean, we're all sort of trying to struggle through all this, and then suddenly this whole idea of being virtual makes you realize that you just can't arrive with your books. All of your books have to be now digitalized. Usually my books are in French, and I just explain them to the Chinese or the Korean publisher. I won't be able to do that, so I have to transform them into English because that's what majority of people understand. Suddenly we have to realize that we have to be taking scheduling. I mean, we have to still plan those meetings that we were supposed to have in Bologna, but it's a different situation because the time zones aren't the same. I mean, we're all in Italy together, but now I'm in Montreal. I've got people in Korea, people in China, people in Mexico, and so how do you manage that? So yeah, we're working on that, but I actually have to create a team thinking about all that to make sure that we make it through and we don't sort of die on the 7th of May, you know, from exhaustion.
It's a lot of work.
I cannot stop. I can't stay up all night.
So are you working on it?
It's a lot.
Working on it,
It's a lot of work. Yeah. It's a lot of
Yeah.
work. So I'm working on it, and it's a lot of work. I mean, my team from last 3 days they have been uploading files on the Dropbox. Janet, I have to give a big shout out to her from PubMed. Janet, she's so fast and prompt. I mean, we have been getting her responses so fast. We have been always messing up on the Excel, which we have to basically compile and send along with the files. So that's what we have been struggling with from last 2 days. Hopefully by Monday or Tuesday we'll be all set. And then we have to go through all the access thing and understand, especially the time zones. So that would be something difficult to manage.
But going back to what Sonia said, I think this Bologna virtual book fair will be an opportunity to test this whole notion of talking and negotiating digitally. And I totally agree with Emma that we need to find a way of reconnecting. And I think maybe this venue, this Publishers, you know, Without Borders, is a place where we can meet. And it's not about business; it's about sharing ideas and concepts. And so maybe at one point, Publishers Without Borders will be an opportunity for Emma to show us how to cook a nice meal the British way, and then we can have an evening with Emma. You know?
I'm not sure about my cooking skills are up to that much scratch.
So it's
No,
a
I
matter
think
of
it's
time.
a different experience. Then it will work. If it will work, then other book fair will implement it maybe in later.
Yeah.
I don't think we are going to travel very soon. So see what
I think
happens.
Elena and John, I mean, they could have just said, well, you know, no Bologna Book Fair, but they're taking a big risk. And I got to give them, you know, hats off, because it's a big challenge to do that in such a short notice as well. I mean, so, yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of work for everyone, and there's a lot of good news coming in from places. I mean, Sonia, when she mentioned that she's still buying, it's a good news. The other day we had the Mexican session where we had Veronica from Carlos Fuentes, and she said she's still buying. So, and she's still not only buying from Mexico, but she's buying from across Latin America, from different countries. And the university has allowed her to sell the book. So that was some good news. The other day, me and Simon were discussing, Vietnam has opened up and the government has funded a project online. And they have created this online space and giving this space free to the exhibitors, where general public can log in, buy books, and those books will be delivered to them free of cost. So in all these basically issues coming up, you have some few good news coming in, especially another news from India also.
But
The school
what is the
bookshop is
difference?
opening at least.
I mean, what is the difference if you're talking about Vietnam, the online book? I mean, it's like, isn't it like Amazon or different book?
But it's not Amazon.
Yeah,
Same kind of. Everyone go
That's-
and buy books.
We're not
That's
enriching
the-
one man.
That's the big difference. And I know what's the best part is the idea that the government is supporting it, and the exhibitor do not have to pay any amount of money.
Okay.
There's no royalties or commissions charged by anyone.
Oh.
I like the takeout or the takeaway. I don't know. It depends which country you're in, but they've put that together in some places, some bookshops where you can order online, and then you walk by the bookstore and you just pick up that bag with your books in it, because you can't go in the shop, but the books are available. And they also do, home delivery on bikes. So
Yeah, my bookstores, I have 4 bookstores, and they have this kind of service. So they deliver the books
That's
ordered by phone or by email, and it works.
Perfect.
And what is good in this bad situation we live in is that people finally realize that books are great things to spend time with, and
Great
and,
trend.
and look at the pictures we are in. A lot of politicians, or the journalists, where they do the interview, they have books in the background. And this is such a great way of promotion, the reading. So everyone is now strengthening that we all need books. And that's something encourage I am also getting from the situation. So we all need books, and and recently our government, to some sort of surprise to us, turned to European Union for the zero tax on books. I don't know what will happen out of this, and maybe it's just the pre-election talking, but at least they started to say something like that. So maybe that could be also some way of helping the books in also this way. And what I wanted also to say, we have these online interviews with the authors, but we are now arranging some project, and the Ministry of Culture is giving some money to that. We applied. I hope we will get money for that. We want to do the events with the local theaters, so that the actors who are also now waiting, and they are not acting right now, so they are put on hold, and so they could be put into some activities like reading the books. So we want to do this kind of promotion of books through the theaters from our surrounding. And if we get money for that, they will read excerpts from different books online. So I hope that it attracts some people also, not only to the books, but also to see these actors online in this situation.
That's nice to bring in influencers. I mean, that's really important now. I think that's a pretty good move. If you can bring in some influencers and talk about books.
Yeah.
Prashant, we are doing these things in this lockdown. There are some celebrities who are reading some chapters or one story from a book. So some celebrities are doing for us on Facebook Live, or we are getting it recorded and we are uploading it on the Facebook. So these things are going on in Maharashtra. It is very much it is going on. So people are reading, recording those stories and uploading on the Facebook. People are giving many reviews about the books which they have read, where we can take those reviews and just upload it on our website for the book. So in Maharashtra, in Marathi, it is happening more on Facebook.
Well, yeah, I mean that's great if we can rope in some influencers. But we also hope that the authors are as big as any other influencers in the world. So they do not need anyone to come and talk about their book. I mean, if they're talking about their book, that's being heard really everywhere. But in India, I'm seeing a lot of online. I think we are very good with technology in India, and some way or the other, adapting with technology is really easy for us. Of course, we might not have the resources, but we know if we have those, how to work around that. And we have Gigi here in the house. Hi, Gigi. How are you?
Hi, Gigi.
Hi.
Gigi, you're mute, so you have to unmute
Hi,
yourself.
Gigi.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Emma. Hi,
How are
Fatima.
you, Gigi? How are you coping?
Gigi,
So that is what Sonia was saying, that you can just give those kisses online.
Online kisses.
Yeah.
What's happening, Gigi? You're back home. You're stuck in New York.
I'm stuck in New York. I'm not home yet. We're still on lockdown. We still have people roaming the streets. We're up in the air. Nobody knows what's going on.
Belated birthday wishes to John, and I
Oh,
hope that
thank you.
I hope you go back soon and meet him.
Yeah. How's everything over there? Are you guys getting ready to go back to work next week?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Not yet.
No.
Yeah.
We take it by ear, considering we have the big guy making demands and nothing. But we see outside is still a lot going on. So, I mean, COVID-wise, not business-wise, COVID-wise.
I'm enjoying this lockdown. I think I might keep this going for the rest of my life.
That's called
And
retirement,
gain about
Simon.
40 kilos doing it. You know?
There's
It's
a name
called
for
early
that.
retirement.
Hold from it.
I feel like I'm going to be like Homer Simpson. I'm going to take 45 kilos on my body.
We can work in pajamas all day long.
That's what I'm wearing at the bottom. I'm not showing you though.
That's okay. I'm in bed. Look. That's the best you get. We won't show bottom view.
So you have to keep many books to your site to sell those rights. Simon.
I'm not hearing you.
Sorry, I'm taking off the mute. Sir, can you say that
You have
question
to,
again?
you have to keep lot of books to sell the rights.
Yeah, well, selling rights is a bit of a challenge right now. I swear, I really am kicking myself not to have thought about being proactive, but you can't do everything. So right now we're just working on keeping the team together, thinking about actually publishing into 2021, 2022, moving books around like Sonia was saying, because we just can't publish everything right now. And the digital, going back, because that was one of your questions earlier on, and I wanted to talk about that. I mean, I think in terms of digital publishing and digital sales, I think, and we talked about this, eh, Prashant? I think we talked about this 2 or 3 times already. I think it depends what you're publishing. If you're publishing novels or those kinds of books, there's a real venue there. Picture books, maybe not so much, but I say that, but I was just looking at my sales from 2019 for my picture books. Now, mind you, there are less books in 2019 in my digital program than there are this year, but I've tripled my sales over a period of 3 months from all of the sales from 2019. So obviously they're buying digital books to compensate the real books. But I don't know if they're going to be doing that forever. I think they'll go back to buying real books. I hope so, because I don't think grandparents should be reading books on digital platforms to children. I think real books, you know, the pages that turn, that smell of the book, that's all part of being connected. And but at the same time, we have some great opportunities. We've just established a digital loan system in our province for educational purposes. So instead of having schools picking up the books, where, you know, this is Intellectual Day and copyright was just a few days ago. So instead of having school teachers picking up the book, digitalizing themselves, and then pushing it up on the whiteboard and the interactive board, they're going to be buying them and using them through a process that ensures copyright, and that's kind of nice. And in the same way that you know, you might have a classroom in high school that be reading a novel. The digital format will be available for a short period of time. So you'd be like buying different books, multiple copies. And so licensing will be happening in that kind of a concept. So sort of like a public library digital loan, but it'll be a public school loan. And that is bringing in some interesting revenue for us as well. So
Simon,
where's that going to go?
Simon,
Yeah.
I was talking about that with a couple of university press people, and they were saying that maybe that they were looking into getting more books into their system because they also have time limits, expiration dates on the digital, which helps protect the copyright as well. So it's not like, and then they're not printable. They're doing a whole lot of more new protections for books and then now they have to take it. They actually have a demand now for more books because of the lockdown, and then not the uncertainty of what's going to happen throughout the rest of the year or for years to come. Of how we have a revolution happening. So, the digital books in the universities might be a good opportunity. I mean, not just universities, but with the schools, I see that there's a demand for apps also being built for schools to teach certain subjects. So
I know that our school publishers here in Quebec really got up and running, helping support this whole isolation and confinement by making readily available their content to parents. You know, usually that's locked into a system where you have to put in a keywords or code or whatever. And it became a bit of a challenge and an issue because few publishers sort of said, yeah, we got to do it. But I mean, there has to be some sort of revenue coming in from that because it shouldn't be seen as free. And it's been a big problem in our industry is that people think that anything that's online should be free because that's what internet is all about. Well, the truth is copyright isn't free and the books that are online don't make it free. So we need to be able to convince and explain that. And we have to be very patient because people have been taught the wrong things by university professors who believe that their content, their personal content should be available free. But that doesn't mean my books should be made free. And so I think there's a lot of language to be done and taught.
Well, that was the whole thing about it, was that in a sense it was like white labeling, where they don't take, not necessarily where they take credit for it, but they pay the publishing house, the university itself, because they have that in their budget.
Sure.
So the university pays it, not the students, because remember, anybody, I don't know how it works in other countries, because I'm always shocked, but in America, the students have to pay for their own books. The students have to pay for their own tuition. So a lot of times they opt for the online, for an online book. If it's the course, whatever that detail end of it, the university is supposed to pay for that, essentially. However the university recoups their fees, that's their business. But with the publisher, and the publisher licenses it for a fee. I've heard lately that somebody just got $30,000 to do a whole musical course on an app for a school. So they didn't sell it to the students or the parents. The parents think they're getting it for free, but it was sold to the schools. So that was where the publishers end gets their payment, and then their copyright is protected because it's all time. It expires after a certain amount of time. And I think that's the system that is going on. If I'm wrong, feel free to let me know.
Well, I think my personal belief is that I think, you know, if schools are buying it, that's great. But we need to make the parents aware that it's not free, that somebody bought it. And that's where we need to work on. I mean, when a parent gets a book from a school, say a math book, they understand that the school bought it and is giving it to the parents or to the child
It's on
loan for the year.
Yeah.
And what happens with digital, with the digital, we would need to at least put a number on it. This product is offered to you free of charge, but please know that it cost X hundreds of dollars, just so the parents are aware, because parents are not conscious of the fact that digital doesn't come from free. I mean, I don't think there's a lot of people who are doing it out of goodness of their heart. I mean, there are, but people need to, understand that it's not free online.
Let me just ask you this. So do this because you're in Canada. So it's the do the universities there or schools there? What's the question I'm about to ask? Sorry, I have Ramadan brain. I'm gone.
Okay.
So with how does it? What I'm saying is, how does it work? Does the when you borrow a book from a school, from an entity, from public school, private school, or anything, because there's private schools that have tuition. So in a sense, the parents think that certain books come under that tuition. They have the list. So I don't know if it works that way, if the parents are paying for books or not, because from what I understand, as long as the university pays, if the publisher sets up their fee to say, okay, for you to use our book, it's going to cost you $50,000 USD per year. And after that, and then they have a certain limit of how many downloads, that kind of thing, and then expiration. So
Okay.
I don't know about once that's set in stone with the relationships between the publisher and the university, and then you set in the paperwork, this is how it's laid. This is what you're going to use it for, strictly for the school. The parent and the institution, they make their agreement. You will not sell this. You will not do this. This is how much it's worth, and this is only for school purposes. Because
Right.
everything here on this end, we've seen where the students, even if it's just a reader for children's books, there's certain curriculum that even they're expected to know that this is not necessarily theirs. This is for their use, but this belongs to the institution. So I don't know
Okay.
why the other part of letting them know that it comes for free, because a lot of times people say, well, I paid my tuition, I paid my this,
Well, I don't know.
So-
I've never been into an American university, but I remember when I was studying at McGill, that I would have my tuition fees, and then I'd have the fees and they were described as, these are the fees for use of physical educational material, the use of this, the use of that. So I don't see why you wouldn't be able to say that within the tuition fees, you ensure to have, bye Sonia, you'd have some sort of description. Again, just to make them aware. Today, I think we have a big issue with digital and the fact that people assume that it's free. And it's not. The university bought it from a publisher with certain constraints.
Well, they
in terms of
licensed
copyright.
it from publisher. They didn't buy it. They licensed it, so it's only for a certain term.
Licensed it. Perfect.
Yeah.
So the licensing, I think, and so I'm not saying that that's what they're doing, but I think it would be a good idea to slowly educate people, students, parents, to the fact that what they're using does have a price on it, even though they're getting it either for free or if it's part of their scholarship fee or whatever, because we need to break that concept that whatever is online or whatever is digital should be free. I think so, because it's a big problem. Right now, we have issues where people are saying, well, why should I have to pay for this book if it's online? What do you mean, why should you have to pay for this book if it's online? Somebody published it. Somebody made this book.
And that's the other thing, is that everything pretty much now has a membership fee. So even Amazon has membership fees. I mean, I pay $12 a month for Amazon Prime to get access to certain things. Even if I want to an Overdrive, they have a monthly fee for membership.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think what we're seeing now is that everybody understands just about everything now. Even like Uber, it might have a membership fee soon, but everything now is like the in thing to have a membership fee. Netflix is a membership fee. Everything is a membership fee. So that's how.
Rashand and I were thinking about doing that for the Publishers World Without Borders, a membership fee.
Membership fee.
I thought about it too, but I didn't want to make the suggestion. I was like, how long is it?
You have to buy us a drink at every book fair that you and I meet.
and
All the
and
people
God, we would
think-
be so drunk
accept
every
the
book
books.
fair then.
Sorry.
I mean, 2,100 people buying you a glass of beer every time, every book fair, every day.
And it has to be gluten-free beer too. Imagine, so complicated.
People take it for
Prashant,
granted
that's
that
your
books
five.
are free. The books are free and not subscribed. So everything other than books are subscription model, and books are to be free online. So that is the people.
See,
People
in
think
America,
in
nothing
that
is for free. Not even love.
Yeah, exactly. You're not even dreaming.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Even that has a
It's
cost.
fair.
Jeez.
No, so the person who is licensing from you, they want the other people to believe that it's free, because that brings him a sort of brownie point. So that is supposed to go. If
Yeah.
the university
But if
says
you're
that we
getting
are bringing
paid,
it,
please care what they think.
Right?
Gigi,
Yeah, but
I would,
when the day comes when they have to pay because it just doesn't work anymore, and they say, well, you have to pay. They say, what? It's always been free. If you make it clear from day one that they're getting something free, but that it has a price, I think, and I'm not saying you have to pay for it. I think you need to know what it's worth. You know, we
Gigi,
have
I would ask
very
a
little
question to you.
understanding of the value of things because we assume that they're free. And I think it's important that people understand the value of the things they get.
And the whole concept of free has been introduced by the venture capitalists and angel investors and the people who have money who invest in a certain company, and then they assign an amount of marketing budget to these startups or I mean big firms or whatever, and I mean in their marketing program they create this concept of free, that this is whatever it is free to you for a certain period of time, or it's just free. You use it, it's just free. But they do a lot of things with it. I mean, even if they keep it free for the rest of life, like Facebook, I mean, they have big data. I mean, they have analytics, they have everything. I mean, they know a lot about you. So if you are reading my current content and I can generate that amount of big data and pull that amount of big data, I can make more money than just asking money for my content.
Yeah.
So, and that's the one. I mean, that's the only reason. If you look at it, Amazon, if it launches in any country across the globe, they start with books. And the only reason Amazon starts with books, they are still keeping books, because if you're buying books, they know who you are. If you're buying children's books, if you're buying fantasy books, if you're buying yoga books, they know who you are.
To set their
I mean,
algorithm.
that's so. I mean, it makes really easy for them to enter in a market where they come with books, and then they know how the people are designed in.
Yeah, they make big money off of people buying children's books and erotica books, so they know who they're gonna make the best money out of.
Now that'll be my next publishing house.
I've already started.
So it can be.
You've
also
always
with
been
the-
ahead of the game, Gigi.
So, Gigi, it is same with the film who buy the content. So they
what?
want it at a lower price.
Wait a minute. I wanted to show you what's on the nightstand because this is how you know. Okay, so we have this book.
Yes,
yes.
saw that one.
Okay.
Yes.
But these are the hot sellers, and this is Anne Rice. Remember Anne Rice?
There you
So
go.
she had this is from her erotica line.
Okay.
So imagine she's a big author and she went into the line herself.
It's not the screaming of.
It's not open, right?
Wow.
It's not the screaming of Sleeping Beauty. It's the
Yeah,
claiming.
it's the claiming. No, this is serious.
I think now we got to wrap the session up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to be off and working again. It was great talking
I'm
with
going
all
to
of you.
go sleep now.
Yeah.
Same here.
Yes.
So
Thank
thanks Sunil for
Thank you.
joining.
Thank
Thanks
you.
Gigi for coming in at
Bye.
least
Bye.
for the first time. You dropped in for a conversation, but
Yeah,
you've
usually
been
I watch
hanging.
live.
Good on you.
You were our only viewer, and now you have come on. So who's watching us now?
Yeah, no, you drag me in.
But you see,
It was
it's
lovely
not so
to
bad.
see.
You can come back.
Okay, yeah. I'll come
Yeah,
back
it
in.
was great to have you.
Thanks to Mithya and
Thank
Sunil,
you,
because they're
Prashant,
using Zoom for the
Gigi,
first time.
Suman.
And
Yeah.
Thanks to Sonia for dropping in on a very short notice, and
Short.
we want to discuss more with Sonia Simon. So maybe someday we bring her
Polish
and
session.
chat with her. But it was great to know about the Warsaw Book Fair and the things happened there. So that's
Yeah. Well, we could have an Eastern USA session and a Western USA session. Maybe we could, split the USA into two.
split USA into three parts. Yeah, that's what we need to do. But yeah, thank you, whoever is logged in, whoever will watch the recording. We have very interesting sessions lined up for this week, starting tomorrow, starting with India, and it will go on to fellowships. And just watch the event page. We'll have a lot lined up. You'll see the similar faces again for the next week. In case if you don't want to see similar faces, we always share the Zoom link. You come online and show your face.
Cheers.
So,
Yes.
Bye.
Thank you.
Good night.